Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck of the Earth's flagship Prometheus, watching the crystalline spires of the Interstellar Alliance headquarters glitter against the backdrop of Beta Centauri. The massive structure, resembling a blooming flower made of light and energy, would have been beautiful if it wasn't for the growing knot in her stomach. Today wasn't about admiring alien architecture. It was about survival. "They're ready for us, Admiral," her XO, Commander David Reeves, announced. His dark features were tight with tension. "The Grand Council is assembled." Chen straightened her midnight blue uniform, adorned with the silver insignia of Earth's Space Force. Time to face the music, then. The council chamber was a vast amphitheater, its tiered seats filled with representatives from over 500 species. Some were humanoid, others defied description, from crystalline beings to living clouds of plasma. At the center, the 7 arbiters of the Alliance sat on elevated platforms, their bioluminescent forms pulsing with barely contained agitation. First Arbiter Zixtal, a being of pure energy contained within an ornate environmental suit, spoke first. Their voice resonated through the chamber's translation field. "Earth stands accused of violating the Technological Development Treaty, Article 7, prohibited research into quantum manipulation technology. How do you respond?" Chen had rehearsed this moment countless times, but the reality was far more intimidating. Earth acknowledges the development of quantum-fold technology, but maintains that such research is vital for our species' survival and growth. A murmur rippled through the assembly. The Vreen delegation, insectoid beings known for their conservative stance, buzzed in disapproval. "Survival." Third Arbiter Merilith scoffed, her crystalline form refracting light in patterns of disapproval. "Earth has been provided all necessary resources and protection under the Alliance Charter. Your species' insistence on pushing boundaries threatens the careful balance we've maintained for millennia." Chen took a deep breath. "With respect, Arbiters, that balance has kept younger species dependent on the founding members. Our quantum fold drive could revolutionize interstellar travel, make it accessible to—" "Precisely our concern," Zixtal interrupted. "Such technology in the hands of developing species could lead to chaos. The Alliance maintains order through controlled advancement." "You mean controlled suppression," Chen countered, her patience finally breaking. "Earth has achieved in 50 years what took other species centuries. We've terraformed hostile worlds, cured diseases that plagued Alliance worlds for generations, and developed clean energy solutions that could benefit everyone. Yet at every turn, we're told to slow down, to wait our turn." The chamber erupted in overlapping voices. Some species, particularly the younger ones, showed signs of agreement. Others, mainly the ancient founding members, radiated hostility. Fifth Arbiter Kelthor, a massive being of living crystal, raised a faceted appendage for silence. "Perhaps then, Admiral, your species would be better served outside the Alliance framework. Earth's methods are incompatible with our values." Chen felt her heart race, but kept her voice steady. "Is that an ultimatum, Arbiter?" "It is an opportunity," Zixtal declared. "Earth can either submit to full Alliance oversight of all technological research, with immediate cessation of quantum fold development, or withdraw from the Alliance entirely. You have 48 hours to decide." The journey back to Prometheus was silent. Once in her private quarters, Chen activated a quantum-encrypted channel to Earth's Security Council. The faces of humanity's leaders materialized in holographic form around her. "They're scared," Chen reported. "Our progress threatens their control. They never expected us to advance so quickly." "Options?" President Kara Martinez asked, her hologram flickering slightly. "We can submit, let them put chains on human innovation." Chen paused, letting that sink in. "Or we can leave, but they'll try to isolate us, cut off our trade routes, pressure our allies to abandon us." Dr. Yuki Tanaka, head of Earth's Science Directory, leaned forward. "The quantum fold drive tests are successful. We could establish new routes, find resources and allies beyond Alliance space. It's risky, Defense Minister Ibrahim warned. We'd be alone, at least initially. President Martinez studied each face in turn. Are we really alone, though? How many other species are tired of being held back? How many would follow if someone finally stood up to the Alliance? Chen felt a smile tugging at her lips. There's a reason they're trying to stop us now. They know once the quantum fold drive is operational, they can't control us. And if we prove their rules aren't necessary, their whole system of control crumbles. Martinez finished. She straightened in her chair. Admiral Chen, return to the council tomorrow. Give them our answer. The next day, Chen stood again before the assembly. This time, she didn't feel nervous. She felt free. Humanity has always charted its own course, she declared, her voice ringing through the chamber. We've faced extinction, overcome global catastrophes, and reached the stars through our own determination. We will not submit to having our potential cage. She smiled at the arbiters, whose forms flickered with what might have been concern. Earth rejects your ultimatum. We withdraw from the Alliance, effective immediately. But know this, we will not be isolated. We will not be controlled. And we will show the galaxy that progress cannot be contained by fear disguised as wisdom. As Chen turned to leave, she caught glimpses of several younger species representatives watching her with poorly concealed interest. The chains were already starting to crack. Back on the Prometheus, Chen gave the order that would change everything. Set course for Earth. It's time to build something new. The quantum engines hummed to life, and humanity took its first step toward an unrestricted future, one that would shake the foundations of galactic society forever. 6 months after Earth's withdrawal from the Alliance, the orbital shipyards above Mars buzzed with unprecedented activity. Massive vessels took shape in the vacuum, their quantum fold drives gleaming with possibility. But it was in a secret facility beneath Olympus Mons where humanity's true rebellion took root. Dr. Maya Patel stood before a holographic display of the known galaxy, hundreds of stars highlighted in different colors. Each represented a potential ally, species that had been suppressed or marginalized by the Alliance's rigid hierarchy. The Nexar have responded to our proposal, she reported to the gathered Earth leadership. They're interested in our quantum fold technology. Admiral Chen, recently promoted to head of external relations, studied the display. The Alliance has kept them confined to their home system for centuries, claiming their plasma-based biology makes them too unstable for expansion. Convenient excuse, President Martinez observed. Especially since Nexar plasma technology could revolutionize energy production across the galaxy. The quantum communicator chimed, a message from their contact among the Siracs, a species of synthetic beings the Alliance barely acknowledged as sentient. Chen activated the secure channel, and a holographic figure materialized. Ambassador K1173, their mechanical form sleek and purposeful. Earth's proposition intrigues us. K1173's synthesized voice carried undertones of carefully measured hope. The Alliance fears our ability to upgrade and evolve rapidly. Your species understands this fear. You two advance faster than they deem appropriate. Martinez stepped forward, which is precisely why we should work together. The Alliance's stability is built on suppression, but we envision a different future, one where rapid advancement is celebrated, not feared. Your quantum fold technology, it's not just about faster travel, is it? K1173's optical sensors focused intently on Chen. No, Chen confirmed. It's about freedom. The ability to expand, explore, and develop beyond their control. We're offering this to all who join us. The Cyrax ambassador was silent for a moment, processing. The Alliance will retaliate when they discover this coalition. They already suspect. Dr. Patel interjected, pulling up recent intelligence reports. Their patrols have increased along our borders. They're watching, but they're also revealing their fear. Let them watch, Martinez declared. Every act of intimidation only proves our point. How many species are tired of being told to wait their turn? of being deemed not ready for advanced technology. K1173's form straightened. The Cyrax accept your proposal. We will begin preparations immediately. Over the next few weeks, similar conversations played out across the galaxy. The Helix Collective, organic supercomputers dismissed as primitive by the Alliance, pledged their vast computational resources. The nomad fleets of the Zarkathi, labeled as unstable elements by the Alliance, offered their unmatched expertise in deep space operations. But it was the defection of the Meridian worlds that sent shockwaves through Alliance space. A cluster of resource-rich systems, they had long chafed under Alliance extraction quotas. Their declaration of independence, backed by Earth's promised protection, cracked the Alliance's facade of invulnerability. In response, the Alliance Council convened an emergency session. The 7 arbiters faced a chamber now marked by conspicuous empty seats. Earth is building a coalition of malcontents and rebels. First arbiters extol rage, their energy form fluctuating wildly. They must be stopped before they destabilize everything we've built. Our attempts to isolate them have failed, third arbiter Merilith admitted. Their quantum-fold technology renders our control of traditional trade routes meaningless. More concerning, fifth arbiter Kelthor added, is the message they're sending. Their success threatens the very foundation of our authority. Back on Earth, Chen watched intercepted recordings of the council session with grim satisfaction. In her office at the newly established Coalition Command, she turned to Dr. Patel and Martinez. Phase 1 is complete, Chen reported. We've shown the galaxy there's another way. Now comes the hard part. The Alliance won't just accept this new reality. Martinez agreed. They'll try to crush us while they still think they can. Dr. Patel pulled up the latest development reports. The combined research teams are making breakthroughs we never thought possible. The Cyrax's quantum processing capabilities, combined with Nexer plasma technology and our fold drive. She smiled. We're not just catching up to the Alliance anymore. We're surpassing them. And that's what terrifies them most, Chen said, watching as another diplomatic request appeared on her screen, this time from a species she didn't recognize. They built their power on the assumption that younger species need their guidance, their control. Every day we prove that assumption wrong. Martinez walked to the window, looking out at the bustling spaceport below. Ships of various designs, human, Cyrax, Nexer, and others, moved in harmony, a testament to what cooperation without suppression could achieve. They called us reckless, she mused, said we'd bring chaos to their ordered galaxy. Maybe it's time for some chaos. Time to show them what happens when you try to cage the stars themselves. The quantum comm system chimed again. More requests for alliance, more species ready to break free. The seeds of rebellion were sprouting faster than anyone had predicted, and the galaxy's balance of power was shifting with each passing day. The question was no longer whether the Alliance's system would break, but how hard they would fight to preserve it before accepting the inevitable rise of a new order, one built on innovation, cooperation, and the unstoppable force of unfettered progress. The prototype quantum fold vessel Phoenix hung in high orbit above Europa, its experimental drive core pulsing with an ethereal blue light. Inside the ship's command center, Dr. Maya Patel couldn't keep the pride from her voice as she addressed the assembled coalition leadership. The Phoenix protocol isn't just an improvement on our existing fold technology, she explained, gesturing to the holographic schematics. It's an entirely new paradigm of faster-than-light travel, one that the Alliance never even conceived of. Admiral Chen studied the technical readouts, her eyes widening. You're telling me this ship can create its own transit corridors? Better, Dr. Patel grinned. It creates stable quantum channels that other ships can use. One Phoenix-class vessel could establish an entire network of permanent faster-than-light routes. The implications weren't lost on anyone in the room. The Alliance's power had always been partly based on their control of established space lanes. This would change everything. K1173, attending via quantum projection, spoke up. The Cyrax processing cores have completed all simulations. Success probability exceeds 98.7%. President Martinez turned to the Nexer representative, whose plasma form rippled with excitement. And your containment systems. Our latest plasma quantum matrices are perfectly stable, the Nexer confirmed. The Phoenix protocol is ready. The meeting was interrupted by urgent alerts. Coalition sensors had detected a massive Alliance fleet approaching the borders of former Alliance space. The message they broadcast was clear: surrender the quantum technology or face immediate military action. They're desperate, Chen observed. They know if we succeed in deploying this technology, their monopoly on interstellar travel ends forever. Martinez finished. She squared her shoulders. How long until the Phoenix is ready for its first jump? Hours, Dr. Petal replied. But the Alliance fleet will reach us before then, unless we give them something else to think about. A new voice interjected. High Commander Relith of the Zarkathi Nomad fleets stepped forward, their bioluminescent patterns suggesting intense calculation. My ships are experts at hit-and-run tactics. We can keep them occupied. And the Helix Collective can disrupt their communication networks, K1173 added. They won't be able to coordinate effectively. Martinez nodded. Do it. Buy us the time we need. But no direct engagement. We're not starting a war today. The next few hours were a symphony of coordinated chaos. Zarkathic vessels appeared and disappeared across multiple sectors, drawing Alliance pursuit. Helix Collective cyber attacks had the enemy fleet chasing phantom signals and false readings. The Nexer used their plasma technology to create sensor-confounding storms. Aboard the Phoenix, Dr. Patel and her team worked feverishly to complete the final calibrations. The ship's quantum core hummed with increasing power, its revolutionary drive preparing for its first real test. Alliance vessels have broken through. The warning came just as they were preparing for activation. 3 heavy cruisers had slipped past the defensive screen, bearing down on the Phoenix position. Chen's voice came over the comm. We're out of time. It's now or never. Dr. Patel. Maya took a deep breath, looking at her diverse team. Human, Surax, Nexer, and others, all working together to change the galaxy forever. Initiating Phoenix Protocol. The ship's quantum core flared brilliantly. Space itself seemed to shiver, then split open in a way that defied conventional physics. The Phoenix didn't just create a fold in space-time. It wove an entirely new underlying pattern into the fabric of reality. The pursuing Alliance ships pulled up short, their sensors overwhelmed by readings they couldn't comprehend. In their hesitation, they missed the most important part. The quantum corridor wasn't closing behind the Phoenix. Channel is stable, Dr. Patil announced triumphantly. Pathway is self-sustaining. And yes, transmitting coordinates to all Coalition vessels. Across the sector, ships of every Coalition species received the data. One by one, they began jumping through the permanent quantum corridor, completely bypassing the Alliance's carefully controlled space lanes. On the Alliance flagship, First Arbiter Zixtal watched in horror as their sensors registered hundreds of quantum signatures. Not brief flickers of fold space, but permanent tears in the careful fabric of their controlled galaxy. Impossible, they whispered. This level of quantum manipulation, it should take centuries to develop. That's your failure. Chen's voice came through on all frequencies. You spent so long telling everyone what was impossible, you forgot that impossible is just another word for not yet. The Phoenix emerged from its quantum corridor near the Meridian Worlds, followed by an armada of Coalition vessels. But they weren't preparing for battle. Instead, they began establishing more quantum corridors, creating a web of new travel routes that the Alliance couldn't control or monitor. The galaxy is changing. Martinez broadcast on an open channel. You can adapt, or you can become irrelevant. The choice is yours. The Alliance fleet hung motionless in space, watching as their monopoly on interstellar travel crumbled before their eyes. The Phoenix Protocol hadn't just changed the rules of the game. It had started an entirely new one. And this time, everyone would get to play. The Alliance struck without warning. Dozens of their most powerful warships emerged from hyperspace near Coalition worlds, weapons primed. But instead of finding vulnerable targets, they encountered something unprecedented: prepared defenders with superior technology. Admiral Chen stood on the bridge of the Defiant, Earth's newest flagship, watching the tactical display with sharp focus. They're following the exact attack pattern the Helix Collective predicted, targeting our quantum corridor nodes first. Predictable. K-1173 commented from their command hub on the nearby Syrax defense platform. They still think destroying the nodes will collapse our network. What the Alliance didn't understand was that the Phoenix Protocol had evolved. The quantum corridors were no longer fixed paths, but a dynamic network that adapted and reformed automatically. Every attempt to destroy a node only caused the network to reconfigure more efficiently. Multiple Alliance strike groups detecting. The Defiance AI reported. They're deploying their gravitic disruptors. Chen allowed herself a small smile. Right on schedule. Signal the Nexer. Across the battlefield, Nexer ships activated their new plasma quantum shields. The Alliance's gravitic weapons, designed to tear ships apart at the molecular level, splashed harmlessly against the revolutionary defense systems. Their primary weapons are ineffective, President Martinez observed from the secure command center on Earth. How long until they realize? Not long, Chen replied, expecting them to switch to conventional weapons in 3, 2, 1. The Alliance fleet's energy weapons blazed to life, filling space with deadly beams of concentrated power. But the Coalition was ready for this too. Zarkathi squadrons, you're up, Chen commanded. The Nomad fleets emerged from quantum corridors directly behind the Alliance formations. Their ships, enhanced with Syrax targeting systems and Helix Collective ECM suites, launched precise strikes that disabled rather than destroyed their targets. Remember, Chen broadcast to all Coalition forces, we're not here to annihilate them. Show them the difference between their way and ours. The battle unfolded across multiple sectors simultaneously. Alliance commanders, used to overwhelming force and superior technology, found themselves outmaneuvered at every turn. Their formations, proven effective over millennia, were countered by tactics they'd never encountered. Incoming transmission, the Defiance AI announced. First Arbiter Zixtal is requesting direct communication. Chen shared a look with Martinez's hologram before nodding. Put them through. The Arbiter's energy form flickered with barely contained rage. This is impossible. Your technology, your tactics, you cannot have advanced this far so quickly. We advanced this far because you told us we couldn't, Chen replied calmly. Every species in our coalition has contributed something unique. While you were maintaining stability, we were achieving synergy. You're disrupting millennia of order. We're evolving it, Martinez cut in. Your order was stagnation disguised as stability. Look around you, Arbiter. Not one of your ships has been destroyed today, despite having every tactical advantage. We could have annihilated your fleet, but we chose not to. That's the difference between control and cooperation. As if to emphasize her point, a group of disabled Alliance cruisers was being guided to safety by Nexer support vessels, their crews very much alive and unharmed. Final Alliance battle group detected, the AI reported. They're targeting the Earth defense perimeter directly. Predictable to the end, Chen sighed. Initialized the Prometheus protocol. The space around Earth lit up with thousands of quantum signatures. The approaching Alliance ships found themselves surrounded by a vast defense network that simply hadn't been there seconds before. Every weapon lock they attempted was countered before it could establish. Every evasive maneuver was anticipated and blocked. Impossible, Zixtal whispered again, but this time with dawning comprehension rather than rage. No, Chen corrected. Inevitable. This is what happens when you let species reach their full potential instead of holding them back. The Syrax provided the processing power, the Helix Collective wrote the algorithms, the Zarkathi designed the tactical responses. The Nexar handled power distribution and humanity. We just brought everyone together and said, what if? The Alliance fleet hung motionless in space, thoroughly outmaneuvered and diplomatically outplayed. Their attempt to crush the coalition had instead demonstrated its superiority, not just in technology, but in philosophy. Your next move is yours, Arbiter, Martine stated firmly. But consider this. Every species you've dismissed, every civilization you've suppressed, they're all watching today. Your choice isn't about defeating us anymore. It's about whether the Alliance will adapt or become obsolete. As the Alliance fleet began to withdraw, Chen turned to her crew, a mixture of humans and coalition species working in perfect harmony. Send word to all coalition worlds, she ordered. The phase of preparation is over. Now we show the galaxy what real cooperation can achieve. The battle had lasted less than 6 hours, but its implications would reshape the galaxy forever. The Alliance's military superiority, maintained for thousands of years, had been broken not by force, but by innovation and unity. And this was just the beginning. 1 year after the failed Alliance offensive, the great chamber of the former Alliance Council looked very different. Gone were the elevated platforms that had once separated the arbiters from other species. In their place was a circular forum where representatives from all civilizations, old and new, advanced and developing, sat as equals. Admiral Chen, now serving as Earth's representative to the newly formed Galactic Concordat, couldn't help but appreciate the symbolism as she took her seat. Beside her sat K-1173 of the Syrax, their mechanical form now adorned with upgrades they'd developed themselves. Beyond them were representatives from dozens of former Alliance worlds, along with species that had been ignored or suppressed for generations. The first gathering of the Concordat is now in session. President Martinez announced from the central podium. She had been chosen as the first council leader, though the position would rotate regularly among all member species. We're here to formalize the principles that will guide our united future. The chamber's quantum-enhanced acoustics carried her voice clearly to every delegate. The same technology that had revolutionized travel now served to eliminate the need for universal translators, allowing for direct understanding between all species. The Alliance's greatest fear was chaos, Martinez continued. They believed that without their control, the galaxy would descend into disorder. Today, we proved them wrong. Holoprojectors activated, displaying the achievements of the past year. New colonies flourishing on worlds the Alliance had deemed too hostile for settlement. Trade routes flowing freely through the quantum corridor network. Scientific breakthroughs emerging from unprecedented cooperation between species. High Commander Relith of the Zarkathi rose to speak. Our nomad fleets once roamed the edges of known space, labeled as outcasts. Now we serve as explorers and pathfinders for a dozen young civilizations taking their first steps into the stars. The Helix Collective has processed the data. Another representative added, their crystalline form pulsing with pride. Scientific advancement across all member worlds has increased by an average of 300% since the formation of the coalition. Free exchange of ideas produces exponentially better results than controlled distribution. Chen noticed movement at the chamber's entrance. A delegation of former Alliance arbiters had arrived, not as rulers, but as petitioners. Their once mighty civilization had finally accepted that adaptation was preferable to obsolescence. We recognize now, First Arbiter Zixtal announced, their energy form dimmed with humility, that our fear of change nearly cost us our future. The Alliance sought to prevent chaos by enforcing stagnation. We were wrong. The question, Chen spoke up, is whether you're ready to join a community of equals. No more artificial restrictions, no more suppression of emerging species. Every civilization develops at its own pace, in its own way, contributing what they can and receiving what they need. A dangerous proposition, one of the former arbiters noted. Life is dangerous, Martinez countered. Growth is dangerous, but the alternative is decay. Look around you. Every species in this chamber was once told they weren't ready for advanced technology, that they needed guidance and control. Yet here we are, achieving things the Alliance never dreamed possible. The evidence was undeniable. The quantum corridor network had expanded to cover the entire known galaxy, managed collectively by all member species. The Nexer's plasma technology had solved energy crises on countless worlds. Sirac's processing systems, merged with organic computing, had revolutionized everything from medicine to environmental management. We offer you membership in the Concordat. Martins addressed the former arbiters. Not as leaders, but as equals. Your experience has value, but only if you're willing to learn as well as teach. The chamber waited as the Alliance delegation conferred. Finally, Zixtal moved forward. We accept, with gratitude and hope for redemption. The vote to accept their membership was unanimous. As Chen watched the former arbiters take their seats, notably on the same level as everyone else, she felt a profound sense of completion. Humanity had done more than resist control or prove their worth. They had fundamentally changed how civilizations would interact for generations to come. This concludes the first session of the Galactic Concordat, Martins announced. But our work is just beginning. There are still species to find, worlds to explore, mysteries to unravel. And we'll do it together, not because we're forced to, but because we choose to. As the chamber began to empty, Chen's quantum communicator chimed. The Phoenix, now one of an entire fleet of exploration vessels, had made first contact with a new civilization in the Outer Rim. They were primitive by Alliance standards, but showed remarkable potential in biological engineering. Send them an invitation to join us, Chen instructed. Let's show them what's possible when you're free to reach for the stars. The galaxy had entered a new age, not one of controlled order, but of dynamic harmony. And at its heart was the simple truth that humanity had known all along. The universe was too vast, too wondrous, for any one species to control. It belonged to all who dared to dream.